Monday, March 10th zoning commission meeting. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Okay, Jim.
Here.
John Everett is not here. Daryl.
Here.
John Hott.
Here.
Mark is not here. And Chairman.
Here. Okay. Rachel or Sean, do we receive any correspondence or any questions from the public?
I have not.
Okay, having here none, I will call the regular meeting to order. The minutes of the November 13, 2024 meeting was emailed to us with the agenda package. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Hearing no objection from the board on the minutes, I have the minutes will be approved as submitted. So moved. Okay. Well, I think we're okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. We have no public hearings. We have a site plan review for architectural review case 2025-01. It's for a 3943 square foot building for Amplify at 2150 Mentor Avenue. Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Is spokesman for the applicant here?
Yes.
Could you please come up and state your name for the record?
Tap on it so it goes green and then you're big.
Good evening. My name is Eli Crisafio with Vocon. Good evening. My name is Eli Crisafio with Vocon. It's an
Okay.
architecture and design firm in Cleveland.
Could you please put the middle of, there you go. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and as you said, it's a roughly 4,000 square foot retail facility for Amplify. It occupies about a 1 1/4 acre property on 2150 Mentor Avenue. 41 parking spaces with 3 handicap spots included. And yep, we have some images up on the screen for any comments on the design of the building.
Okay.
Do we want to start with the elevation, Sean?
So you wanna go to this one?
Sure.
Sure. Just go through the exterior perspectives.
Sorry, can I open all of them individually?
That's okay. So yeah, it's a relatively simple red brick. It's very similar in color to the Popeyes, which is adjacent to the property. Has a stone base at the bottom, separated by 2 rows of soldier coursing. There's another row of stone towards the top. 22 feet in height is the highest point. Most of the roof, or the parapet level, sorry, is at 20 foot. And it has a drive-through there on the south side of the facade. 2 drive-through windows. And the front entry
Okay.
is on the east side, facing Mentor Avenue.
All right. Anything else?
I think that pretty much explains it. You guys have any comments?
So, sir, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have the staff report come up first, next, okay? I'll
Okay.
do this. Once stage's done, then I'll have the commission zoning board members ask any questions either of staff or yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, sounds good.
Sean, go ahead.
So I have worked with the property owner and his team for probably 6 months now. And this is the hammered out final, I guess, the end of the mold. So there was a lot of shifting, a lot of adjusting, to the point where it came down to where ODOT denied a curb cut or didn't give an answer well enough. So if you look at the property here, I'm gonna zoom in so you can kind of see. These are the original curb cuts that are currently there, that have been there for years on end.
Correct.
There's 2 phases to this. This is what we're looking at today. The second phase is whenever Gary Miller decides to move forward with that plan. But in the mix of it, land design consultants have worked with Gary Miller and this owner to kind of splice the land and come up with creative drive-through and flowability. So this is gonna be a drive that's shared between here, Popeyes, and then the back portion that will be developed at a later date. This will be the owned entrance by the property owner that will allow exit, entry, whatever else. This helps ease that. And then there's also gonna be the connection here that will help there.
Gotcha.
Down the line, there's another lot down here. Whenever that happens, there will be another interconnectivity there. That is to be determined however it works. Within this box here, they are gonna need 2 variances and 1 conditional use.
Okay.
Those are set for tomorrow. The variances are very minimal. They're there, but one is gonna be the side setback on the right-hand side, which would be the northeast side, non-Popeye side, we call it. There needs to be 10 feet of grass, non-drivable surface, not that, I'm just letting you know what they are. Originally it was 0, we shared a driveway on that side, worked with them, got it down to, I think it's 6.5 right now. Impervious surface starting was 96%.
Mm-hmm.
We've been working on this for such a long time, basically Dave Radacci, I've been forcing with him, like, hey, let's get this lot split done. He kind of overseen it and forgot about the impervious surface section of it. So that's why we require the 70%. They're going for, I think it's
74.
74. We were at 76 at one point, we got down to 68, but then we said, let's change this all and let's shift the building again. And we did, so now we're back up to 74.
Okay.
Which is reasonable.
right.
Getting into landscaping, to me, it in the front definitely meets the trees and their layout. Looking at it today again, I'm okay with it. You guys can decide. You guys have been doing this for a lot longer than I have, but just kind of looking at each tree and things where they're at and the species and what Popeyes put in versus these guys. The building itself, we probably changed it 15 times. So we're at a point now where the trustees have seen it multiple times. They have not given me any more feedback to say, hey, let's change this, let's adjust this, let's move this. Some slight concern on coloring of the steel beam, but it matches what is in our stuff.
Section 39, correct?
Section 39.
Okay. All right. So I'll open it up now. Thanks, Sean, very much.
Mhm.
I'll open it up now for commission members to have any questions to the applicant or to the staff. All right, John?
No, I'm still trying to figure out a few of the variances here, but I understand there are some, is there a reason that this has to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals?
The reason it has to go in front, so it has to go into them because of the 2 variances and the conditional use. If they would have gotten the variance down for the side setback of 10 on the right-hand side here, that would be 1 less variance. The other one would be if they decided to lose more parking, which would not be beneficial to them, then they would need a variance for there. They would only need the conditional use for the said drive-throughs, just because those are always conditionally used.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and I have to apologize a little bit because I my computer decided not to help me this week,
Oh,
so
that's okay.
I, did not have a chance to look this over, as well as I would like to have been there, but, I understand where the property is and that sort of thing, and I think I understand all the variances that you're talking about, but I'm not sure. Does anybody else have any questions on it?
What's the privacy fence in the back, what's that gonna be,
That's the loading area.
one compared to?
This is a dispensary, retail dispensary.
No, what's the material? paint?
Oh, of the fence, it's a bronze aluminum fence.
It's hard to see just because of shadowing.
Oh, yeah.
But looking at it, ultimately, this portion here becomes a secure access point for them in terms of quote unquote Sally porting it. Obviously, it's tucked behind the building. The only people that will eventually see it is whoever's driving out of here or in the back there. It's not chain link fence, so at least on that end.
Jim, you any questions more, Jim?
No, I think that was,
Daryl?
Forgive me, I too not had a chance, I lost my wife over the last week.
Oh, sorry to hear
I had a
that.
chance to, look at all this stuff. Product are you selling?
It's a dispensary for marijuana products.
Okay. I guess this is what was going on. I hadn't heard about it. My focus been on something else.
Sure.
Otherwise, that's all I wanted to know.
Mark?
Well, I'm a little bit late, and I apologize.
Okay.
Is there,
Jim, go ahead.
Are there other areas similar to this same, that your company has worked with before, or where is the closest at, I wonder?
Sorry. You,
In terms of the closest dispensary, so Bloom in the township, they're kind of a standalone building up in the industrial. There's another location for this owner, I believe in Wilwick or Wycliffe
And Columbus.
and Columbus. So multiple locations. So within the state boundaries in terms of licensing and numbering out.
And you are gonna be governed by state regulations, am I correct?
Correct, yes.
Strictly, but, okay. John, any more questions?
No, I was,
Cause I have a couple, so just
are there,
bear with me.
in the other locations where this type of dispensary is taking place, whether your company or others, is it normal that there's that many spaces are needed, or?
So, I mean, I can answer that. So ultimately, so in terms of flow, the front's 90% going to be customer parking, and in the rear is probably going to be employee parking. From my understanding, they're looking at 15 to 20 employees at a time. So that's 15 to 20 cars. So that's why there's so many parking, just because they don't want it to be like Black Friday. You know, on any day of the week, they want customers to come in, and there's certain things like, hey, staging, welcoming, checking out, and going. So the flow inside of these are significantly different than what you'd see in your standard retail.
yeah, Sean, to add to that, most of the business will probably be through the drive-through. But yes, I mean, to Sean's point, the customer parking will probably be more utilized up front, and the employee parking in the back.
So in the future, I think I heard most of what you're talking about there, but in the future, what changes are going to be necessary?
So for these guys, there would be no changes. So if you guys approve this today as is, I mean, ultimately, they just need their 2 variances and their conditional use for tomorrow. And I'm assuming they have a bulldozer lined up to start moving dirt at some point. And then in all hypotheticalness here, so if they didn't have that many parking, they just used what was in the front and had grass in the back, whoever would want to build, to say, a restaurant in this said building in the future would have to then tear out grass, go for a variance, and then add parking to be able to go sit and eat an Applebee's that nobody goes to.
you've been working pretty hard on it, I guess, from what you said, and,
I should have bought stock a while ago.
I don't think I have any other questions right now.
Daryl, you had a question?
Yeah, the way it's sounding, you're gonna do some growing on the site?
I'm sorry?
You're gonna grow marijuana on the site?
No, no.
It's all strictly sales?
It's, yep, it's all
Processing
sale,
sales.
yep, all retail sales, yep.
Okay, I guess, anybody else in the commission have any more questions? If not, I have a few.
Okay,
Can we go to the landscaping, please? Right there. Okay, let's go to the bottom right-hand corner, right there. You have two trees right there. The tree that the mouse pointer is on right now, that tree is, in my opinion, going to be blocking people from seeing cars coming in off of Manor Avenue. Okay, it's going to be in my opinion, it's going to be a possible sight distance problem. So I'm suggesting to you of those two on the corner, eliminate one of them and have one, and then so the size of the trees height wise at that corner, and also the other two trees on the other drive off of Menor Avenue, those trees should be no more than 3 feet high.
okay,
And the reason being is because you have a sight distance problem with people seeing oncoming cars coming in and going out on the Menor Avenue, and then also you have this an internal drive there. You don't want to have accidents inside your lot.
Mhm.
So therefore, I would suggest having one tree at that right-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner, please,
okay,
and in the trees that are along your drive, or near your drives, for people getting in and out, be no height-wise no more than 3 feet.
sure, okay,
That would be full grown, 3 foot.
Okay.
Inside, don't care. Okay?
gotcha,
But inside here, for safety reasons, it'd be best to have it that way for ingress and egress. All right?
understood, yep, thank you.
Also, one more question here, please. Da, 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 da. So, go to the picture with the Amplify,
Front side,
Sean. The one before that or after that?
this one, or
Keep going. Tell you when. Keep going. Sorry, sir. Keep going.
not a pictures?
I guess I'm looking at this picture this one right here.
I didn't open that one.
I'm sorry.
What was the?
Should be two,
001 or something like that.
I think it would-
Okay, perfect. Leave it like that. Go back to that one right there. I'm sorry. Okay, so on that question, right, so your brick color is going to be the same as Popeyes,
it's close.
or close to it.
I should have brought a sample, but I can bring it tomorrow.
And the owner's okay with that? Okay, and the tones you have on a building, it look like they're natural.
Yep.
Okay, could you, and the owner, could you make it as natural as you can, or close to like a grayish tone? You could.
Are you referencing the canopies, the blue color?
Maybe I can't see it well, but if it's a grayish type tone,
So
we have the Western Reserve lock. That the brick you have is very, I call it British like, but it's supposed to be Western Reserve.
Sure,
And then the tone for the earth tones can be like a more shade or toward gray,
okay,
if you can.
sure,
are we
I'm not trying to
talking
demand it in the
talking
site
about
plan,
awning?
but I would like to. We can't.
Up top, the stone up top?
Yeah.
You-
I'm
so
talking-
you're talking
yeah.
the stone color, gray, okay,
If it's possible.
sure,
And I would, as for us on the site plan, I would refer that be referred to the staff to make that final call. Okay, as far as the color scheme is concerned,
okay,
because since they work with you, they work with the trustees, obviously, site plan wise, it basically does work with the Western Reserve look we're trying to get throughout this quarter. And if we can get something close to that, that'd be great. Appreciate that.
Sure.
In my opinion, looking at this, it looks very well thought out, very well. Land Design did a decent job. Again, worked with you guys for too long. But anyway, no, it looks like in my opinion, and only my opinion, I don't have that at 4. It looks well thought out, well planned out.
I appreciate it, thank
And,
you.
yeah, it will be a welcome addition to seeing an empty building there with nothing going on.
Absolutely.
So, and it would be a nice fit throughout the whole corridor. So, with that in mind, any other questions from the commission? If not, take a seat, relax.
Thank you.
If there is another question, we'll have you come up if there is any more questions. Okay. A couple things. If you folks agree with revising the landscaping as I described in my portion of the meeting. Also, there is 2 variances that's being requested by the applicant that'll be on the Board of Zoning Appeals tomorrow night. So I would suggest that if we approve the site plan as shown, it would be a stipulation would be a contingent upon their approval by the Board of Zoning Appeals for their 2 variances. Because if the variances are not approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals, this site plan here is null and void. Okay? Because this is assuming your variances are approved, correct? Okay. And then also, from what I was shown, I would be asking for a modification of the landscaping to restrict the trees to be no higher than 3 foot high, and eliminate that one tree at the bottom right-hand corner. Or if you're looking at north, it would be the southwest corner of the lot.
Gives trees to pedestrian traffic as well.
Huh?
Being 3 feet low allows non-see cars, but pedestrian traffic.
At the highest it can be.
Yeah.
For the sight distance.
Higher than that, you won't see. And some of the small kids, but they should be out there.
Right.
Adults.
Because the sight distance is 3.5 feet. So to get no more than 3, at least have 6 inches. You can see over the trees. So with that in mind, entertain a motion for approval of the site plan with some however you folks want to go.
With the stipulations that you.
Yeah, I think if we approve,
So moved.
so the motion would be to, if that's the motion you're carrying, would be approval of the site plan with the revisions at the meeting, held at the meeting, and approval of the zoning board of appeals.
And it's the landscape.
Yeah.
No more than 1
So the motion's on the motion that is made by Mark,
tree
I know Mark made it, was to approve the site plan
at the corner
as amended
that are
at the landscaping, for the landscaping, and 2, second stipulation would be that the Board of Zoning Appeals approves the variances. Am I correct, Mark?
Yes.
Okay, with that in mind, that's the motion. We need a second on the motion.
I'll second.
Jim? Okay, Jim seconded. Discussion on the motion for approval of the site plan as amended. Hearing none, roll call please.
Okay, Mark,
Yes.
John Hawk,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Daryl,
Yes, reluctantly.
Everett's not here, and then Chairman.
Yes. Site plan is approved as amended. Stipulation as to what happens tomorrow. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day, rest of your day. Okay, we're coming to new business. even though this is the month of March, this is our first meeting of the year. And, our new business is election of officers. So there, as every year we do it, we have elected a new chairman and a new vice chairman. So we'll start with chairman first, and I'll let you folks, I will step back, and I'll let you folks decide how you want to proceed.
I would have, no issue with Ted, assuming your interest to continue. Do you have one more term? Or is there term limits on our,
Come up every 5 years.
I don't believe there's any term limits, but there's,
Reappointments.
I
for the
think
position.
there's term limits
No,
for,
just every 5
But
years.
yeah.
Enough the position.
but there's, he's not, there's no infringement on his
Not for
ability to
chairman.
carry on. With that in mind, if there is none, then I would say, Ted, I would not have any problem with you maintaining your role if your schedule and your interest still.
Then you should nominate it. Say I nominate.
I nominate Ted, but I didn't know if we were just having discussion first. So,
Well, he has the right to refuse if he wants to.
okay. Well, that's my nomination, or it was my input first, but if I have to nominate, then I'll nominate you.
I'll move nomination to be closed and a unanimous ballot cast. That needs a second.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion on the table for myself to be chairman, made by Mark, seconded by Daryl. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Okay, Mark,
Yes.
John Everett's not here, Jim,
Yes.
Daryl,
Yes.
John Hunt,
Yes.
and I always get this confused. I'm used to saying it chairman, but I'm not sure.
Abstain. Okay. Now we have the chairman for the year. Let's go with the vice chairman.
Do you wanna continue?
Last year was Mark.
I am learning a lot through this position, and I appreciate that. If you guys want somebody else to do it, then I
I'll
will.
nominate Mark.
I'll second.
Okay, Mark was, motion made for Mark being the vice chairman, made by Gerald, seconded by Jim. Any questions on the motion? Discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Okay, John Hunt,
Yes.
John Everett's not here, Daryl,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mark.
Do I abstain?
You can if you want to.
And chairman.
Yes. Okay,
Then I'd like to,
go ahead.
speak for my, at a meeting, or not a meeting officially, but we did discuss, some of the things that, we maybe would like to see here, and we did meet our administrator today for a while, and, also, at that meeting, we discussed the fact that we'd like to probably rotate those positions periodically, so that, at some time in the future, when somebody may not be able to fulfill their obligation, that we could have other people that would step in who maybe have served, in that position. And at the same time, we could have somebody who has served it for a while there to serve as the expert, for questions that might come up in the procedures, that way we do it. So just to, have that entered in there, that we sort of, decided that maybe, after a certain period of time, no set position, not any particular year was discussed, but after a few years of time, it might be worthy to pass it on to somebody else to handle those jobs and become aware of it.
So was there a meeting for this?
No, it was not a.
Just informal conversation?
Discussion meeting. And, James, or, John Everett was also, discussing this. I believe he had talked with trustees already about it too, so. It was just a matter of, something that we discussed. It doesn't have to be formal.
So is there a particular recommendation, or is this just commentary to?
We didn't set or discuss any particular time. I think when I was chairman, it was probably, I'm not even sure, I might have been there 5 years or something, but I'm not sure if that's for that long. A lot of organizations change every year, they rotate, but I think in this position with good guidance from our staff, that we, And I know it's a lot smoother now than what it was when I was chairman, because we've kind of made that into a, like this, right here is, you know, you follow that rule, and then there's a few other places where we have to have legal advice, but, it's much easier now than what it was before, and I recognize that. But I still think it might be good to rotate, maybe every couple of years, or something like that, 2 or 3 years.
If that's the case, are you proposing a structure of some sort yet, or what? Like, because there's, right now it's a
It might be a
conversation,
little difficult to say that time, because we don't know for sure right now, for instance, I'm not sure whose term limits are coming up, or who's in there for next year. So it might have to be something that we decide
so
upon the year.
can we put that on the agenda for the next with some more information that might help us? If there is a,
Well, the other thing too, folks, is this, is that you have the opportunity every year to have changed chairmen.
right,
I mean, it's up to you folks. When I say you folks, I mean, it's up to the rest of the board to decide, hey, we want a new chairman this year. And we don't want somebody else to do it. And, you know,
We've never
I'm
had-
fine with that. I really am. I mean, I am fine with
yeah,
that.
you've been very
And
forthright.
I think, though, what we should understand is now Mark's going into a second year as vice, and it would be a natural succession plan next year if you wanted to start something like that. It's already kind of in motion.
Assuming that the trustees would appoint him for next year.
That's a good point. You might have to double the money.
But it's like I said, it's not, you know, it's up to whatever the board wants to do.
And I just wanna add, like, from what I can remember from terms, like, Mark and John Everett coming in, they were taking over what was left
For
of the
Amy,
terms from the previous zoning commission members. So it's not like, I don't think there's like.
I'm not sure who's up at the end of this year.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it would be
so-
worthwhile to have that, like, information on our next conversation, and then we can maybe chew on this a
Okay,
little bit more.
And I think this is unique to this period right now, because a few years ago, we lost 3 of our members very
Yeah.
close together.
I came in for Amy.
We had, well, Daryl came from the county planning, so he had a lot of advice and good information. But, it was a period of time in there where we didn't have very much experience on this board. And now it's getting to the point where we don't know, we have experience for several years, so we could go into rotation. Like I said, it'd be pretty hard, I think it's up to the chairperson sometimes, they'll say, let's pass it on. But I'm not so sure we could, but I don't know if you made that in the form of a motion or not when you said that,
Oh, no,
but that's more or less what we had in mind. So
Yeah.
It's been moving, I mean, I was chair for about 2, 3 years, maybe 4 years, and then I passed on it, and
I don't know how long I've been.
I think you
I've been
took
for a while.
over after that. But you need to have the vice chair do some public hearings before they take over the chair.
Yeah, and I did one.
It's good to get some experience in that, because that's not an easy thing to do.
No, it is not. I well know that. I've had my share. So, in fact, my very first time as a chair, when you had the accident, that's when we had the Fairway Pines
Yeah.
public hearing. That was my first meeting. That was fun.
And I had to step
Okay.
down for that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish you were there, unfortunately.
one of the other things that we discussed in this informal get-together was, the fact that we used to, have an invitation to attend some of the regional, zoning
Conferences,
commission meetings.
conferences.
And I understand that that's been brought up to the trustees, and they said that they would kind of keep that in mind. That gives you an idea of what other people are doing in other townships, that sort of thing, so.
I recommend going if you can. I've
Yes.
been in a number of them. And you can, meet with other people and network and see what's going on. Everybody has a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
And there's always something that might work for us better.
And we brought that up because in the past few years, they've had those meetings, but for some reason or other, we haven't been invited, so.
I don't know what's been happening with COVID and everything. I think they stopped them.
I don't know for sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
David would know. Or Dachi.
All right. So what we'll do is, like I said, we can find Rachel, find out for us what the rotation is for the,
Like everyone's
for how,
terms.
for the term for all the, for the members, please? I know I'm close to being up, I can't remember where I'm at. There's a 5-year term that you get
Yeah.
appointed. It's a 5-year term. Daryl, I think you just were appointed, I think just recently, right? Last year?
I don't remember.
I can't remember, somebody was just appointed.
I really don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
It was you or John was just appointed.
You would ask me right now.
And myself, I can't remember where I'm at in the thing, but we can find out for that for next meeting. Sean,
Yes.
zoning inspector's report, any at all?
So, save the date, Northeast Ohio Regional Planning Zoning Workshop event at Eastwood Event Center, June 13th, 2025. So this is $75 a head. If you'd like to go, you can let me know, but I need to pay Dave Radacci prior to going. The agenda has not been released yet. It's gonna be released at the beginning of May. So that's all the way down in Youngstown, Warren Road, and Niles, Ohio. So they are hosting it this year. That's where it's gonna be this coming year.
And what was that date, Sean?
June 13th,
I recommend going.
In Niles, right?
In Niles.
correct.
And is that like a full day agenda? Is that,
Typically it is. So for this, it's normally it's like an 8
That's a
or
Friday.
9:30 shotgun start and ends at probably like 3:30. So
And it'll all be in June 13th,
so.
and I'll be in Willoughby for tournament.
So that's a Friday,
Right.
13th. So obviously, in terms of letting us know, because we have to pay, unless you want to volunteer, then you get in for free. October 13th is going to be probably the only date we need to look at changing our schedule, because we are closed that day. So if we need to find the best date for you guys, whether that be the following Monday or the Wednesday the 15th. October. I know that's.
So you're looking
far
at
out.
either the 7th or the 21st, correct?
Which
Well,
one?
Or the 6th or the 20th, correct?
if you want to keep Mondays, it would be the 6th or 20th, correct?
Which,
October.
October?
Well,
Oh, that's, yeah.
BCA's on that Tuesday, right?
on the 13th, I'm glad the 13th, because I'll be in Columbus that day.
On Columbus Day.
On the Columbus Day, I'll be in Columbus.
And the 14th is the BZA meeting, so.
I'm gonna be in Columbus for
So we should
13th,
probably
14th, 15th. So, we can either have it the 6th or the 20th. Sean, do we have to make a decision now?
We do not, but I don't want to be blindsided by it, I was just trying to get ahead of
We'll
it.
blindside you in September, how's that?
So,
As it stands right
I would
now,
say-
I'm open either date.
How's the?
I'll keep it.
I would say the 6th.
There's
wanna go
also the 15th, October 15th.
You wanna go the 6th?
No, I'm just saying, there's also October 15th, so rather than on a Monday, you guys could do it the day after BZA. I think we've done that before
we've
for
done
this.
that shift one
Yeah.
at a time.
We went on the 15th, a Wednesday.
So that way it's in the same week, but it's on Wednesday instead of Monday.
I should be,
I
I
don't
may or may
know.
not be back.
I'm just throwing it out there.
My only thought is if you end up having to have a site plan like this, where they have to go to the BZA, we don't wanna hold them up for an extra month, right?
Well, usually, Jim, when we have a site plan,
Mhm.
we always have our meeting before the BZA.
Right,
And and usually Daryl, correct me if I'm wrong, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, we usually just approve the site plan as is, based upon the next day.
right.
Because if they don't get their variances, what we do is moot, because then they have to come back to us.
So then you're just switching them.
Correct, because it's up to them.
Okay.
If
so
they
then
can't
would
convince
have-
the Board of Zoning Appeals that the variances are needed, and the Board of Zoning Appeals says no, then that approval is no good, because it was based upon what we saw that night.
That's why we make it subject to
Right.
approval of variances.
Then they have to come back anyhow the following week.
That leaves it open for them to come back.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more smoother for them. But, having said that, I prefer either the 6th or the 20th for me.
I prefer the Monday format if at all possible versus the Wednesday, cause that's already in different zone of other meetings I got.
Would we have you wanna make it October sixth?
I don't have a problem.
I'm fine with that.
It's fine by me.
Hearing no objections, October sixth, all right?
Mhm.
Send it a reminder so I can put it on my calendar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell
If
you
I
what,
have something,
Yeah.
I'll keep that in my computer then.
okay, Sean, since you are relatively new as a director slash inspector, then director, is there anything in the zoning code that you're seeing that maybe we need to close loopholes, we need to, change, revise, or say maybe text amendments, and since you've been, in this position?
So, have you guys found any?
So if you have some text amendments you'd like us to take a look at that would make your job easier, we'd be glad to take a look at that and go through the process of making amendments, public hearing, et cetera, et cetera. But coming to us and giving us your revisions and why you want to have the revisions, and we can always do it at a meeting. The following meeting would be public hearing.
Right.
So we could set that up. So, I mean, no, you don't need to answer right now, but just go through what you,
Just keep that in mind.
your job.
I already have it in mind, so
Okay.
you guys typically haven't seen any cases of late for a couple reasons. One, stagnant, nothing. I've been working with these guys, and they're really the only thing that's come in. So, what's on the back burners is possibly Villa Rosa wanting to add to their hotel. There might be a potential coffee place on Menor Avenue. Might be a site plan for off of Fairport Nursery Road. So there's a lot of me working with them instead of coming here and then wasting everybody's time with the nature of they're not even remotely prepared to come to those things.
That's okay, because that's been
Right.
that's what the staff's here for. But
in the nature of working with everybody and searching for things, I have probably found 3 I can name off the top of my head. I have a short list in my office. Being the director / inspector, aka doing everything, which is perfectly fine. The ability to find those things and then the emergency level of it. So one would be in setbacks of gas wells in industrial. So there's no setback from gas wells in industrials. So then there would be one for new cars dealerships. Where can those go? Impervious surface for industrial. So I do have a list. You also be seeing something come maybe next month to bring, I gotta see how fast I can get it to the trustees and then to the planning commission. But ultimately, we're changing the code for like vape and hemp. So like that text changes on its way coming, and then text code for massage parlors and where they're at and what's needed for there.
Okay.
So it's an evil balance, right? So I limit the number of problems by just either saying no or no, that's not it, or it's just going to be a buildup of it.
okay, so I said, get that list together that you want us to maybe take a look at, and develop it, and we can start working on it when you're ready. Okay?
It may take more than one meeting to
Mhm.
get through it, but at least we get the process started.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other business to come before the commission? Hearing none, hearing none, I'll close the meeting adjourn the meeting at 7:15. You know the clock says 6:15. 10:15. All right? Thank you, folks.
Seven,
Rachel,
7:14.
two things.
14.
And